Welcome to Crafts and Minis. I want to share with you a great option to fill out your Dungeons & Dragons miniatures collection. And I know a ton of people already know about all the great board games out there that have miniatures, and they are growing by the day. Just take a look at all the incredible Kickstarter projects out there that have miniatures for their board games that you can use. I wanted to share with you one of my favorites that I found, and it's from Privateer Press. Privateer Press are the makers of War Machine and Hordes, and they also have their Iron Kingdoms role-playing game, but they also sell these Iron Kingdoms board games. And there's a couple different games with some expansions in this range, but I love this Undercity set. Now, in this box comes with way more miniatures than I have pictured here, but I just wanted to give you a taste of what you can get. If you're used to working with other types of miniatures like metals or plastics or resin, these are a little bit different. As you can see here on the right, the red and blue figures here show what they come like out of the box, except for the base. They actually come on an integral base like this figure. This is another one from the set that I cut off because most of my miniatures collection doesn't have this rounded lip base. Instead, I use the flat round bases. But because of this material, it's super easy to cut off. It's almost like the Bones material from Reaper Miniatures. I don't know if they're exactly the same, but it's very similar. But what I found is then E6000, the clear version, my glue of choice for basing miniatures, is really good with these figures. And so that's how all these have been mounted to their base, is with E6000. And then I prime them with Sandable Black Auto Primer. That Sandable Black Auto Primer covers up models in such an effective way. Some primers you get out there, you just got to test and see. Some come on too shiny. Some don't stick well. Sometimes you do have to actually wash with soap and water your board game miniatures or resin miniatures to make sure the mold release agent that they use when they're casting these is off so that the primer will stick better. But once you take the time to mount them to a base and to prime them, you get to do your own paint job. And I know that's a hobby in and of itself, and I know some folks who even use miniatures in role-playing games and Dungeons & Dragons like the pre-painted. And I use pre-painted when I like the miniature too. But these are some of my favorite sculpts that actually originated in War Machine for Crow's Cutthroats that they put into this Iron Kingdoms board game. Now, this board game I actually got in a Black Friday sale years ago, and it has served me well. This is just a small selection of all the miniatures you get in that box set. It's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. Search for it at the different online stores, at your friendly local game store, of course, on eBay, and check out all the great board games, especially the ones from Privateer Press, that can aid in your miniatures collection.